Norwegians are the happiest people on the face of the earth. And there was an earlier survey which said that Nigerians were the happiest people on the face of the earth. So there is some competition there. But I think that what has happened, of course, is that Norway has remained consistently a great example of how business and commerce can be done properly, especially for the benefit of the people. So I'll be looking to how to export some of that happiness to Nigeria as well. Just as we pointed out and I'm not so sure how many of us attended the earlier session, there are incredible opportunities today for business and trade, and especially with the coming into effect of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Many of us, of course, are familiar with all of what it took to get us there. We all also recognize that Nigeria is the largest economy by GDP, but also in terms of the market. There is the huge market there, and the prospects for us and our Nordic friends, who of course over the years have proved to be some of our best partners, are clearly immense. So I think we must, begin the sorts of conversations that can, be beneficial to both sides. Our government is committed to enabling foreign investment. Only last week, we got some good news on the ease of doing business. The World Bank rated us as the top 20 most improved economies in the world in ease of doing business. And we intend to work very hard on this business of ease of doing business, because really, I think that one of the major questions, of course, that people have is around navigating some of the regulatory challenges and all of that. And of course, most of you would probably appreciate that Nigeria is a federal state, which means that sometimes you have to deal with subnationals. As a matter of fact, all the time, you have to deal with subnationals. You are not only dealing with the federal government, states own land, for example. So where you are investing in states, you may have to deal with those. But I've had the privilege for the past few years of chairing what is called the National Economic Council, which is the meeting point of the federal government and all the state governments. And there's a great deal of interest and a great deal of attention being paid to all of the issues around getting the subnationals, getting the states to be as up to scratch in all of the parameters of ease of doing business, the issues around title to land and all of that, issues around building permits and the various other issues that the states control, so that business can be made much easier. So I think that what we've seen, and I'm sure that for those of us who have been doing business in Nigeria for a long time, you're already very familiar with all of the macroeconomic issues and with some of the good reports that we've been getting, especially growth figures and all that, and some stability in terms of monetary policy. But there is much to do, and this is why I think this roundtable is particularly important for us. We're in the process of diversifying our economy, and this has opened up prospects in infrastructure, especially roads, rail, power in particular, renewable energy. And we've done quite a bit in the power sector, and there is plenty, I think, that can be done in the power sector. One of the very important things for us in the power sector is really opening up that space. You know, of course, that the power sector had been deregulated in the past for almost 10 years, and especially the generation and distribution aspects of the power sector. Transmission has remained government owned. But what we found is that there is now an urgency about doing a lot more in terms of off-grid capacity, microgrids in particular. And we've done it quite a bit in trying to encourage private investment in, willing buyer, willing seller agreements with different in different areas. For example, in markets, and when I say markets, I'm talking about store owners, more like flea markets, but these are huge markets. For example, the Sabongari market in Kano, which is about almost 50,000 different shops. We have a private sector power supplier there, and there's a solar powered facility, providing power to almost 50,000 retailers there. And we also have the same in Araria market, that's in the southeast, and several other markets. The whole idea, of course, is to enable a situation where private power producers, especially renewable energy producers, are able to sell directly to customers in the different areas. And we think that this is particularly important because without that we may be unable to cover all of the various areas that require power today. And there's still over 60 million households that require power, and we think that the fastest way will be renewable energy. Last month, we commissioned the largest hybrid solar plant at the Bayero University. That's about a 7.1 megawatt capacity solar power plant, a hybrid solar power plant. And that, is the trend. We're doing this, across the country. Of course, the plant, as I said, is entirely private sector owned. Agriculture is also one of our priority sectors, and where we've employed targeted policies to move the country towards self-sufficiency in food production. And so now we have doubled paddy rice production in the past 3 years. And investments in various agricultural value chains have gone on. A few such investments include Olam. The Olam Group has invested in poultry feed mills. They have a combined capacity of 720,000 metric tons per annum now in poultry feed mills. Walcott, I'm sure some of us are familiar with the Walcott Group, has built a rice mill with a production capacity of 120,000 metric tons. Dangote is also investing in 1 million metric tons of rice mills. Flour Mills has also built a sugar mill in Minna that produces 100,000 tons of sugar annually. And there's, a great deal of interest in that whole chain. Our roadmap, especially for modernizing livestock production, to serve a modernized dairy and milk processing industry, is what we've described as the National Livestock Transformation Plan. And it's been implemented as a partnership between the federal and state governments with entry points for stakeholders and investors. So just a week ago, the 2nd of October, the European Union's mission in Nigeria met with our agricultural team to talk a bit more about collaborations on the National Livestock Transformation Plan. And this was a follow-on to engagements we've had with them since August 2018. I'm sure that many know that Allah has invested about 7.65 billion naira in one of our gazetted grazing areas in Damao under a loan equity arrangement with the state government and private investors. So there's quite a bit, that at least the Danish have broken ground there. Apart from their powdered milk producing factory in Lagos, they also have invested in a liquid milk factory in Oyo State that will be fed from the local dairy farmers. So private investors from Netherlands have also approached us on collaborating on the National Livestock Transformation Plan. And we think that that's an area where a lot can be done. We think that there's a lot of opportunity in livestock, in dairy, and we're really open to doing even more. But we also consider technology as our springboard, to, as they say, the fourth industrial revolution. And we're pleased with what we see so far, the zeal, the tenacity of our young people in particular, taking advantage of all the opportunities to innovate. Only about 10 to 20% of our capacity, of our internet capacity, is at the moment being utilized, despite ICT contributing over 14%, in fact nearly 15% to GDP. So there is a huge opportunity to expand digital infrastructure to underserved areas. In recent times, representatives of some of the Nordic countries have met with members of my team. Some have participated in one or two meetings, and the others have been briefed about, especially our digital Nigeria drive, where we're focused on digitization to free up the golden spectrum for broadband usage. And we intend to roll out this wholesale wireless broadband across Nigeria, which will significantly reduce barriers to entry for ISPs. So we've discussed solutions for road traffic monitoring, security surveillance through our Federal Road Safety Corps and other security agencies. We've also looked at, transportation of PMS, petroleum, the logistics to combat smuggling. These are areas that we've had discussions with several companies. We've increased investments, especially from multinationals, in facilitating access to digital infrastructure generally also. So we think that there is a lot of opportunity there. I mean, Nigeria has, some of the most interesting figures, especially with respect to our internet penetration, the number of phones, mobile payment systems, and all of that. We have, at the moment, I think we're possibly one of the largest users of internet for banking and mobile payments. We're certainly one of the we're certainly one of the largest in terms of mobile payment systems today. So there is, great opportunity in technology as well. And for me, I think that, and I hope that our discussions as we go along will, the questions you'll ask will enable us to answer some more of the questions. But there are so many different areas. But I'm sure that many already are invested in the oil and gas sector, which remains an interesting area for everyone. We're doing a lot more in terms of encouraging investment in the deep offshore, in the deep offshore now. And I'm sure you've heard that we're, in the next couple of months, we'll be doing some more bid rounds. Bid rounds have been suspended now for a couple of years, but we'll be doing, opening up for more bid rounds in another 2-3 months. And I think that would also present interesting opportunities. Aside from that, we have the Nigerian gas flared initiative, which is one that we think might also interest a few of our investors in the oil and gas sector. This basically is collecting flared gas for use in the power sector, and also for LPG use and all that. So we think that, again, this presents some opportunities that you may want to consider. So I wouldn't take much more of your time, and I'm sure that as you ask the questions, I might be able to give a few more clarifications, and maybe hopefully also get you interested in a few more of what we're doing. Thank you very much.